Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video. These are troubling times. Corona is raging. Where I am in Copenhagen, um, we've been sent home as of a few days ago, a week ago actually. I'm a civil servant, so I'm stuck at home with my wife and kids, and we're making do. And yeah, I hope everyone is safe and that you'll get through this wherever you are. Um, okay, well, I haven't played Legacy in a long time. I've not actually played a lot of Magic in 2019, but recently got back, played a bit of Underworld Breach before that was banned, and now I have discovered this Doomsday deck that some people have been pioneering, and it is a lot of fun. It's pretty good. I don't know exactly how good it is yet, but it's pretty decent. Is my feeling, anyways. And there are different ways you can build it. I've seen people primarily either play this Esper version that I'm on, or a bug version. And it sort of depends on what kind of disruption you are looking to be playing. The Esper version allows you to play chant effects and Teferi, whereas the bug version you can play Veil of Summer. So anyways, I won't delve too much into that. Maybe I'll try and do a video on the bug version at some point, but I've tried both versions, and I've mostly been enjoying and having success with the Esper one. So I've tried to split up the deck here in different sections. So we've got the disruption package here. You could debate whether or not Fairy counts as disruption, but so either 8 or 10 pieces of disruption. I initially played 3 chants, but it's just that the silence is extremely good when it's good, and then it's pretty underwhelming when it's not. So without being too analytical about it, you could say that against decks with blue in them, chants usually do a very good job, whereas decks with no blue in them, it's less than great. Sometimes you can randomly buy yourself a turn. If you happen to know that they have like a Thalia, you can silence them. If you know that on the next turn that might matter, you get one more Thalia free turn, but mostly it's not amazing. So I've gone down to 2, and then I debated whether or not to have 2 Thoughtseize. And that might still be what I end up doing, but right now I'm testing a 1-1 split of Thoughtseize and Spell Pierce just because Veil of Summer is a thing, and so I want to limit the times I get blown out by Veil. Thoughtseize and Spell Pierce also kind of work in different ways, obviously, so this gives me a bit more sort of leverage in certain situations. Yeah, but anyways, I'm still testing it. And then the 2 Teferi. Teferi is amazing when you can resolve them against the blue deck, and it's also nice to randomly have an out in your main deck for random hate piece. His -3 lets you bounce a Chalice or a Thalia or like a Deafening Silence, although, not many of them in the main deck, luckily, but you get the point. Alright, so just quickly, I want to touch on the actual way that the deck wins, and that is by casting and resolving Thassa's Oracle with 0, 1, or 2 cards in your library. Your miles may vary. If you have more than 0, but less than 3, then you will likely lose if they have removal for Thassa. If you have 0, then removal doesn't matter. So there's like a bunch of different piles and ways you like it. I don't really find that I'm using a standard pile. I'm usually using like the same maybe 7 different cards to make up my 5-card pile, and you'll get to see them hopefully when we play. But yeah, it's such an upgrade over Laboratory Maniac. I used to play a version of this deck back in like a long time ago when Stephen Menendian had sort of popularized, or he had written like a 70-page primer on something he called Mean Deck Doomsday, which has a lot of kinship to this list. It was sort of a taut blue-black Doomsday list with lots of counter magic, and then a Laboratory Maniac that you would sort of win the game with. But it is a massive difference to not have to draw a card after you resolve this, and to not have this have to remain in play. It's a trigger ability. It obviously means you lose to Stifle, maybe, but I've not had that really come up. Um, Also, Menendian's list was sort of made right, I think, before Deathrite Shaman was printed. And Menendian's list played Unearth, and I know some people play Unearth today, and I could definitely see a reason to try that out, because it lets you sort of leverage your predict much better. You predict naming Thassa's Oracle, and then you draw Unearth and say a Force of Will if you have a blue card, or if you play Pact of Negation or whatever. Whereas when I don't have Unearth, I have to predict, like the card I predict, I don't get any value from it. So just whatever card goes through the graveyard and then lets me draw 2. Anyways, I won't dabble too much longer on this. I'll get to play, and I'll actually queue up now. I'll say a few things on the sideboard. I see people trying out Monastery Mentor, and I tried that, and I've yet to really see it shine. So I'm right now not running Monastery Mentor. I think people were just on a high from seeing how awesome Monastery Mentor was out of the sideboard of Breach, which was a Jeskai deck. But that deck played double as many 0-mana artifacts as we do, which I think make a difference. And I don't know, I just don't feel like it has been as conducive to the Mentor plan, this list, or this deck. So not really, yeah. I've not been too, but I still probably will test it out some more. And then I saw some people that were audaciously running 2 Red Blasts in their Esper list. And of course, what makes all that possible is the Arkham's Astrolabe. And maybe I'll go on a rant about that card at some point. We found our opponent. But yeah, the Red Blasts are mainly for the card Leovold, and to a bit less extent Narset. But I also bring it in against Delver. Alright, so let's jump into this league and see how this puppy plays out. And I get this hand on the draw, and I think that's a keep. Very decent hand. We're sort of soft to a turn 1 bomb play if it's combo, or to a lesser extent Chalice, I guess. But yeah. Okay, I hope it's not Delver. Okay, and it's not. One of the things that this deck I feel like has a hard time against is like a very fast clock, and they shuffle off the Ponder. Okay. We draw Pierce. So question is, do we leave up Pierce or do we cantrip? They shuffled off the Ponder. The reason to leave up Pierce would be if they like Thought Seizes next turn, or if they're like go Ancient Tomb Show and Tell, I guess. Or if they could be Storm, in which case Pierce would be nice. I can see us holding off for one more turn before starting our cantrip. Or cantripping. I have to give a shout out to someone that I don't know, but Eric Klaus, I think his name is, a player who has been, he was my first exposure to this deck. Another Ponder Shuffle. Are they landlocked? Ooh, lucky us. But Eric has been doing videos on Doomsday. You can find him on YouTube. He has his channel, and from what I see, he's been doing mainly Doomsday videos from this era of the deck's history, and they seem super cool. Okay, so what to do here? I've not had much experience playing with Predict, and it's definitely funny that you you sort of end up not always wanting to brainstorm to its maximum. You know, like the typical brainstorm being the crack a fetch afterwards. But I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to brainstorm here and not aim to predict because we have more cantrips to set up predict on later turns. And I'm going to fetch, even though we should be safe to not see Wasteland next turn. But they could be sandbagging it. Okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. I think we can stand to lose a Dark Ritual. And the Edge. Even though that Edge of Autumn is pretty, it's pretty nice to have a 0 mana draw effect into your Doomsday pile, but I feel like this game will go long enough, and with the Dark Ritual we should have mana enough to cast Predict or Preordain, I guess, if we get to resolve Doomsday. Okay, so yeah, they have 8 cards. Dreadhorde, oh, so it's like a Delver strategy, I guess. Hope I don't get stifled, but if I do, so be it. I think I'm going to get the second island and draw. I would like to get an Astrolabe, truth be told. Excuse me. Alright, let's play out Scrubland. Play out Astrolabe. And right. And let's cast Preordain. You know what I should have done? Wow, that's kind of bad. I'm not going to leave any of these to predict, because it would mean getting one of them. I just get more lands. Wow. What I should have done is use the Scrubland and the Astrolabe to Preordain, because there is a world where they now wasteland the Scrubland, and then do something that I want to pierce. But, yeah. Okay, so they got another land. I guess they have another Arcanist. Yeah. So the pressure is on now. I think if we draw Doomsday now, that would just be amazing. So we have 3 lands, and that becomes 4 on our next turn. 6 with the Dark Ritual. Alright. Preordain. I guess we top both of these, and we predict ourselves. And we name Arkham's Astrolabe. Right. So I'm a bit concerned about them getting to untap with this Dreadhorde Arcanist, because that is definitely a very potent card. But yeah, not really seeing a lot of options for us to help that. We really just need to hit Doomsday now, and preferably one more piece of interaction. Alright, so now they get to get their value. Okay, so Ponder it is. So if they wasteland us here, I don't hate that. What I really don't want them to do is like go Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. We don't know yet if they're a Grixis version or just blue-red. I I feel like we've gotten an exorbitant amount of time against what I expect to be a Delver deck so far. When we untap it, it will be our 5th turn, and we aren't presented with much of a clock, but that can change pretty quickly, and this value train that they're on is going to be hard to keep up with. So far we are still up on card economy, right? Because they discarded one, and we have predicted. Not that that really matters that much, but yeah. Okay, and there's a wasteland. Okay. What I guess I wouldn't mind is if they. I'm assuming they're going to waste this, but if they were to tap so that our Spell Pierce is live, but yeah, no, doesn't look like it. Doomsday. A word with the lab. Come on. Nah. All right. So I guess we're gonna brainstorm. There's a silence. That's nice. Do we want more lands? I think we want the Edge of Autumn, and we can probably do without the Petal, and we might also be fine without the Astrolabe. I might live to regret that. Astrolabe. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get the basic swamp, then the Flooded Strain can get basic plains. No, don't think we want any of these. Alright, let's try one more Ponderino. Okay, there's a Doomsday. So let's not draw it, let's draw the LED, just in case we get Thought Seized. And pass a turn, and hopefully we can win next turn. They almost certainly have like 1 force of will effect, and if they have 2, then it's a bit of an issue. It depends, like if they keep Spell Pierce tapping mana open. I wonder if they go for the clock here. No, they ponder. So hopefully we'll get to resolve our silence. I've died to a Delver play where I had already used my Edge of Autumn to get into the pile, and I needed to resolve a Street Wraith cycle, and I was at 5 life, and then they had the bolt. But that was in the bug version where I had resolved Veil of Summer. Okay, they do not shuffle and deal me 1. So a bit annoying that I think... No, never mind. I was going to say I was going to draw a land, but no. Okay, Ponder. Wow, if we can just get them to not hit a land, I feel confident that I'm going to win if they aren't able to pay for Spell Pierce. We shall see, of course. Ah, there's a land. Pass. Fetch. There's an Underground Sea. Thoughtseize, I guess. Or what, the zombie fish? Oh no, never mind, what's this? Yeah, the fish. So they leave a bolt, I guess. They leave the ponder. Okay, I think we have it now. Unless they are literally sitting on 3 copies of force and 3 copies of blue card. Okay. So let's lead off with silence. There's a force, and let's pierce that. Okay, they have second force. And we can't do anything about that, but if I lose to triple force, triple blue card, I'm gonna feel a little bit hard done by, but at the same time, if you have it, right? My guess is they have days, maybe? Alright, so Doomsday resolves. So, seeing as we have, like, somewhat of a luxury of having both the Edge of Autumn already in hand and the LED, we might be able to protect ourselves. So right now we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 open mana and an LED. So we could ponder into a silence or an orange chant. And then we could lotus petal, cast the chant. Then we could edge into brainstorm, sack the Lion's Eye Diamond, cast brainstorm, get the Thassa, and win that way. I guess the correct play would be to edge into the silence. But let's say that they have like double days. What did they exile? Oops. 2 brazen borrowers. I might just be overthinking this completely. Because the only thing I'm thinking about doing here is if they have like another force of will that they decide to cheekily save until after Doomsday, but I very much doubt it. Because let's say they have double days and I do what I plan to do. So I ponder. And then they daze it, I don't pay. So I have 2 mana left. I edge into brainstorm. Now then I would have to edge into... I have to, if I put silence on top, I have to draw that with the ponder. So yeah, that's actually maybe, that might still be fine, right? So let's put silence or Orm's Chant on top. And then brainstorm. And then Thassa's Oracle. And then whatever, 2 blanks. And let's just see, we have 3 mana, so we ponder, so we have 2 mana. We get the silence, cast it, we have 1 mana. We edge, crack LED, we have 4 mana. Grab brainstorm, grab oracle. Put back Doomsday and Street Wraith. Yeah, I think that works. So let's put Doomsday, Street Wraith, Thassa, Brainstorm, Chant. Oracle, Brainstorm, Chant. There we go. So if they daze this, I am going to pay with pedal. Okay, so they didn't. So they had no daze. So let's sack a land, and let's crack this for blue. Draw Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm. Put back, we could put back Oracle and Street Wraith into it, but it doesn't make a difference here. So we just get Twin. Okay, so I guess we want the counterbalances. I don't know about 2 on the draw, maybe on the play. And we want the blasts, and we want the plows, and maybe the terminus. I'm not sure about that. We want the basic planes. We probably don't want the Teferi. A 3-mana pyroblastable planeswalker is not amazing in this matchup. So what else don't we want? As you can see, this is sort of like a control package, and I think that's correct against something like Delver. I think we need to get to a point where we, like, ideally, they will keep hands with that are threat light, maybe have 1 threat, and then, you know, if we can answer that, we can get to a point later on in the game where, like, our deck sort of picks up momentum, whereas their deck does not necessarily. Kind of worried about how much discard I'm supposed to expect, but not really sure what I can do about that. Okay, so I definitely want to cut a couple of forces. Maybe I want to cut all 4 force. I'm not sure. Can see us cutting a dark ritual and one of the petals. And yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. I think counterbalance is super strong against Delver. Although, like, I don't have that many 2-drops, right? And they have like 4 of those Arcanists, and I have no 7-drops, and they have like the big guy, the fish. Having said that, though, like a lot of 1-drops for a lot of 1-drops. Maybe Terminus is not where we want to be. Like, ideally, I want to use Terminus after I Doomsday, like against hate bear decks. That could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. Tell you what, I'm going to go completely off Force of Will. We bring in 2 more counterspells here in Red Blasts, and we also bring in like the counterbalance. I feel kind of good about that. Okay. Yeah, this is a keep. Key card here is Astrolabe, obviously, to resolve that. And we'll see. They keep 7 as well. It's very sort of subtle, this card. I don't see a lot of people wasting counter magic on it. And I'm not saying that they ought to, but maybe they ought to. You know what I mean? Alright, are they gonna... No, okay. So them not having a turn 1 Delver is, like, very good, I think. That's always what I'm most afraid of, is the turn 1 Delver play. Okay, they might fight over this as they see it cast off basic planes. I mean, that would at least be a bit of a warning sign for me, but if I was on the other side. Okay, let's hope not to get, like, Thoughtseize Surgical for max value. Okay, Brainstorm. So now, if they deploy a Delver, I'm gonna snap off this Pyroblast once I untap, I think. Let's see what we got. Ponder, okay. You do feel a lot less sort of safe against swamp decks when you're playing without Veil of Summer. Alright, so they shuffle off the Ponder, by the way. So I'm going to Brainstorm here. Means I don't have Pyroblast open, but that's okay. So probably gonna ditch the Underground Sea and maybe I was gonna say maybe one of the brainstorms for Dark Ritual instead. Definitely want the land. I want to keep the Pyroblast. I want to keep the Worm's Chant. So maybe it's like Brainstorm or Predict. Tell you what, I'm going to put back Brainstorm. And if I have a change of heart, I might just draw it next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to play out the Petal to keep up Blast, but I don't really see us countering anything on their turn with a Pyroblast. Having said that, they might just play a Trop and play Leovold, and I'll be sad, but Arcanist. Okay. I kind of want to find a plow now. And don't want that Brainstorm. Let's get an island. Or we could just win, I guess. So let's see, we have 3 lands, 4, 6 with the Dark Ritual. And we want to use 3 of them to cast Doomsday, and we want to use 1 of them to cast Orm's Chant, and possibly 1 more to cast Pyroblast. So let's say we do that, and that leaves us with 1 untapped mana, and 1 untapped mana to cast our Brainstorm. Let's say Doomsday resolves. We cast Brainstorm. We're out of mana. We put back Predict. We draw Edge of Autumn. We draw Street Wraith. No, that's no good. How about if we draw Petal, 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 blank, and put back blank, and nope, won't have anything to put back. I'm just trying to work out if I don't want to do this if I am not able to win, and I want the contingency is that I have to cast both of these. If I only have to cast 1 of these, then I don't think it's a problem. We can just predict. So we can, let's go back. We make a 5-card pile, and we have 1 mana, and we have at that point 2 cards left in hand, which is Brainstorm and Predict. So we can cast Brainstorm, and we can draw into, so we need LED, and how about LED Edge Brainstorm, put back Predict and Brainstorm, play LED Edge, sack LED, draw Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm. That should do it, right? So let's just go through that one more time. We make a pile that is Edge of Autumn, Brainstorm, LED, and then Thassa's Oracle and a blank. And then we cast our Brainstorm, drawing the Edge, the second Brainstorm, and the LED. We put back our Predict and the Brainstorm, keeping Edge and LED. We edge into the Brainstorm, sacking LED, and now the pile is Predict, Thassa's Oracle, blank. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for our opponent sitting there and waiting for us. So we will need We should be fine. Okay, so let's cast this. What might happen is they might have double force and a daze, in which case I think, or if they have daze here, right? Then the double daze will like if they have double daze, then we're fresh out of luck. Okay, let's see how we go. So if they daze this, I think we have to, well, we don't have to, but then I'm going to not pay and assume they don't have any more. And if they then have another daze, I think that's the only way we lose. And they could very well have that. Their hand right now is a land and 3 blanks. They could also have like surgical extraction, which would also be annoying. Okay. So not gonna pay. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to cast Dark Ritual without playing the pedal, because if they have the second daze, then they will likely daze now. I'm going to play the pedal now because this way Doomsday can resolve even through a daze, and that way we will at least have Doomsdayed and be able to win next turn. But okay, I'm going to assume they don't have what we think they might have, the second daze. So grab the edge, grab the second brainstorm, grab the lion's eye diamond. Grab Thassa's oracle. Probably going to, so let's say that it fails for us. What would be our best contingency plan? If we could just like to put the last card, it might be to put like silence, but that would mean them not drawing any more, like any wastelands, and not killing us. But I think that's probably the correct thing to do. So where is silence? There we go. Okay, so let's say yes to that. Put silence on the bottom, then the oracle, and then in this order. I hope they don't have that second daze. Okay, so we put back predict and brainstorm. We could also have put back predict and then predicted. It doesn't, I think, make that big of a difference in this scenario. We would have to, yeah, we wouldn't be able to do that because we'd be a mana short to cast the oracle. Okay, so like that. Oh yeah, I guess the silence play doesn't work. I was putting silence in the bottom. Because we will have sacked our lands, we will enable it, never be able to cast. Yeah, you get my point. Alright, so if they have the oracle, oh sorry, the daze now, we lose. Not we win. Come on, don't daze me, brah. Yeah, great. We get to win. Awesome. Nice to beat Delver. I'm saying Delver because they had Daze and Wasteland and were blue-red, but I guess I never saw Delver. Alright, let's jump into this queue. Sorry, I'm checking this. I'm constantly a bit paranoid that my audio, for some reason, would not be recording. Because I get to do these so rarely, I don't want to sit through a couple of hours of making videos to find out my audio was botched. So yeah, I have to say, this Doomsday deck is just right in my wheelhouse of fun. Like, I have been longing for the day where Legacy had a Dark Ritual Force of Will deck that was good. Um, and I'm hesitant to call this quite yet, but oh man, it's looking really good. Um, I'm yet to 5-0. I've 4-1 a couple of times and 3-2 a couple of times, and then like or not but like X3'd, X4'd kind of thing, and dropped a few times as well. So kind of in the middle of the road. I'm going to keep this off the strength of Preordain and this basic island I'm going to get. Oh, our opponent mulligans to 5. Hope it's not Reanimator, I guess, because this hand is not that well set up to fight that. Planes. Okay, so Mother of Runes. So this puts a bit of pressure on us because we would love to, or rather, we would absolutely hate for them to go turn 2 Thalia with the hand that we have. It's not that this deck can't beat a Thalia, but our hand is really, really not sort of well positioned to fight Thalia. So how likely is it that they mulled to Mother and Thalia and 2 lands? Because obviously what needs to happen is we have to choose if we're gonna fetch a basic island to get our blue spells off, sorry, online, or Swamp to cast Thoughtseize. But I think the potential punishment of getting Swamp and not drawing another land for a couple of turns is more risky. So I'm gonna hope they don't have Thalia. Oh, you know what we could do? No, never mind. We can't do Doomsday on this turn, but we could Doomsday next turn. And if they don't have Thalia or Revoker naming LED, I think we win. So I'm gonna get a bit greedy here and go for it. I'm not gonna play the Petal because they might as well have Revoker. Come on, not Thalia, not Revoker. Something like Stoneforge. Come on, you know you want a Stoneforge. Revoker, okay. I can live with that. I wonder what they name. Wow, they name Lotus Petal. That's a cold read. Okay, that puts things off a little bit. Hopefully not too much. Okay, so here we're going to put back the Petal. And it's tough, right? Because so the thing about this is we can... No, never mind. We can Astrolabe into our Doomsday pile. No, actually, that's not the problem. We can Street Wraith. The problem is we can't Petal. So if we go next turn... So I'm not going to play out the sea here, because if we get the sea wastelanded, then we're up the creek. So I'm going to sandbag the sea. And the next turn I'm going to go... Hopefully they don't play Rashad Port. And then I'm going to go Underground Sea, cast Dark Ritual, cast Doomsday. And then we have 1 blue mana. And we have this Predict that we really want to play. But I don't think we can, probably. So what we need to do is cast... sort of cycle Street Wraith, get to a Brainstorm. Brainstorm... The only thing is I'm not sure if I can get to 0 cards, and they might have Source of Plowshares, and we will need to crack our LED. So we won't have Force Up, but... Alright, so I'm not going to be casting this Thoughtseize, at least not this turn. Petal, Thoughtseize. And we're going to be discarding what? Maybe the Astrolabe? I don't think we're going to be casting the Astrolabe. We aren't going to be casting the Astrolabe. Alright, so we can force pitch to Fairy if we need to. We just have to hope they don't go for like Rashad Port. It looks like they don't. So the question now becomes, is there a way we can get to have 0 cards in our library with Thassa's Oracle on the stack? Because if they have Plowshares, we just lose. I don't think waiting is going to improve our odds here. We could go Doomsday, pass, and then untap, draw land, but that leaves us vulnerable to Rishadenport. Mind you, they didn't have Rishadenport now, so it's like a 4 in 53 shot of them drawing it blindly off the top. And if we do what I'm suggesting, we get to predict and then just win. But let's see if we can work out if we can actually win with what we've got this turn. So we Doomsday, we have one untapped island. We Street Wraith into Brainstorm, so 4 cards are left in our pile. And we draw Edge of Autumn, and we draw Lion's Eye Diamond, and we draw Brainstorm. And then we put back a blank and Brainstorm. So now our pile is, so how many cards was that? Edge into Brainstorm, Brainstorm into the top 3 of our 4 cards, and then we put back 2. And one of them is the Oracle, and no, wait. Sorry, this is what I was afraid would happen when I made this video, is me sort of like mumbling to myself while I'm trying to think. I'm going to try and speak out my thoughts here. So, one more time. We put Brainstorm, Edge of Autumn, and Lion's Eye Diamond as the top 3. We edge into Brainstorm. We Brainstorm into Edge of Autumn, Lion's Eye Diamond, another Brainstorm. We put back a blank and Edge of Autumn. No, sorry, blank and Thassa's Oracle. So now our hand is, or our library is blank. It's Thassa's Oracle and a blank, and then we edge into that. Is that how that works? Man, I can't work it out. I feel like I might be missing the obvious here. I need like a pen and paper, but that's not going to translate well into the YouTube format. Okay, so edge, draw Brainstorm, Brainstorm, draw another Brainstorm, and LED and edge. So put back a blank and Brainstorm. So we would need 2 Brainstorms in the pile, and those. Okay, so put back a blank and Thassa's Oracle. Jeez Louise, I'm like a deer in headlights right now. I feel like I can't work it out. Well, let's cast the Doomsday anyways. Again, my poor opponent. And like I said, like the only thing, if they were tapped out, this wouldn't be a problem. The thing is, we need to work out if we were able to win with just 0 cards in our library in case they have Source of Plowshares. So in the scenario I'm going for here, we Street Wraith into a Brainstorm, and we cast that Brainstorm, drawing another Brainstorm, Edge of Autumn, and Lion's Eye Diamond. We put back Predict and Brainstorm. So right now our library is the Brainstorm, the Predict, and the Thassa's Oracle. So yeah, that won't work, because we will then Brainstorm into, we'll edge drawing the Brainstorm, and then we'll be like stuck because we can't cast Brainstorm. We'll deck ourselves. So we could make it a Preordain, but then we get to the problem where it's like we'll have 1 card left in the library. So I guess like another play. I guess the question is, what do we believe is most likely for them to have? Draw Rishadenport, or or have a plow. And I don't think they have their Jeanport because they would have played it already, so they would need to draw that, but they could have a plow. So in my other scenario, we pass the turn, we draw a snow-covered island, we cast Predict, and we can do that, actually, tell you what am I saying? Oh no, never mind. I was going to say we can do that before port becomes online. We can't though. Then we'd have to wait another turn. But let's say we draw the snow-covered island, we predict a brainstorm, and then we draw edge LED. And we edge into Thassa's Oracle and win that way. And let's say that they actually port us. So we just draw the snow-covered island. We can't play anything. We play out that one. Then it becomes our turn again. And then we can actually make the same play when they then try to port us. So I think we're looking pretty good here. So let's put Thassa's Oracle on the bottom. And then Lines at Diamond, Edge of Autumn, Brainstorm, Snow-Covered Island. Yeah, alright. Now all we need to do is to make sure that we actually do not force something pitching our predict. We have to pitch the Teferi. I worry that this makes for pretty horrible viewing with me taking so long. I do apologize, and if you're still here, thank you. I hope you get something out of it. Let's see. So, if they have Wasteland, I think it's pretty simple. They just Wasteland us. I guess that also means I was completely overthinking it for nothing, because obviously they can't both Wasteland us and port us. But here they flicker, and we're going to force this because we can't afford to have them flicker Phyrexian Revoker and then rename Lines at Diamond. This would also mean that they go to a two-turn clock by swinging. They can do that anyways by swinging with the Mother of Runes. But yeah, they do, so that doesn't matter. But that was correct anyways, I believe. Okay, so gonna predict ourselves. Gonna name Brainstorm. Gonna cycle this and crack the LED. And there we go. Alright, on to the sideboard. So, snow-covered plains for sure. Plows, I think. Terminus, yes. And maybe Serenity. Serenity, I think, mainly is if they bring in, what's it called? Deafening Silence. I see Death and Taxes running that card, and that's like really annoying. It also will randomly like scoop up stuff, but it also scoops up our astrolabes. But yeah, I don't know. Still not sold completely on Serenity, but gonna try. Let's bring out the Teferis, because we're just bringing in like the static ability on Teferi, and the +1 doesn't really matter against Death and Taxes, and we get to bring in way more efficient creature removal. And the silence effects ditto. I mean, there's a world where they bring in surgical extraction, which would be potentially annoying, but hopefully we can sort of get around that. So, gonna side out the Spell Pierce as well. Question is, what do we side out for the last card? Maybe the second Predict. The fact that I'm even running two Predicts is I'm a bit unsure of. I really like to be able to go sort of a bit more control-y, but I don't think that's necessarily our role here, even though we are bringing in like removal cards, which are control-y. You could also make an argument for siding out Force of Will, but I'm because they have Cavern of Souls most likely and Aether Vial, and if we don't have Force in our opening hand and they land an Aether Vial, then any like Force of Will basically almost becomes like a dead card. I'm gonna go for the second predict. Alright, let's see what they got for us. This is an acceptable hand, even though we are getting like a light on lands. They mull to 6. Okay, so the question is, do we force an Aether Vial here? Or do we force like a Mother of Runes even? Probably not, right? But we have 3 Plowshares right now that a Mother of Runes sort of invalidates. So, it would appear they have a turn 1 play, but I'm not sure what it is. If they Aether Vial, I think I am actually going to force it. Pithing Needle. What do you Pithing Needle? The only Pithing Needle target is our fetch lands, I think. Does Astrolabe? I think Astrolabe is a mana ability. I'm going to let this resolve. Wonder what they name. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's fair enough. That could randomly get you. I might draw a polluted delta here. No. Fortunately not. Ponder. Okay, so a Phyrexian Revoker is going to get a snap Force of Will from me. As will Thalia. So the question is, do we get greedy? I want to get rid of this Thassa Oracle. The greedy play is to brainstorm and hope to hit a fetch land, but mind you, like 40% of our fetch lands or something like that are switched off right now. So I think I'm going to ponder. That was pretty good. So let's draw the swamp and play the Astrolabe and hope they don't have Revoker. Ah, they do. Bummer. But Revoker can be Source of Plowshares, and we do have the blue mana here, so pretty stoked about that. Oh, hang on. Did I not bring in my Massacre? No! Oh, man. That was pretty horrible. I just remember now looking that they had a basic plains. I was like, what the hell? Alright. So, let's fetch out basic island here. And go pondering. Well, would you look at that? So I think I'm gonna I'm gonna draw Source to Plowshares and leave Terminus on top. And then I can always brainstorm Terminus back into my hand if I need to, if I don't want to fire it off for some reason. Ideally, you want more than one creature with Terminus, right? So if they don't play another creature, I'm going to plow at the end of turn. Okay. I think I'm going to Terminus. Terminus is mainly there to get into what do you call it? Like to put in the Doomsday pile, I think. Yes, I would like to reveal Terminus. Yes, I would like to cast Terminus. And now I would like to brainstorm. Okay, don't want the Oracle. I don't mind these plowshares, to be honest. They're down to 2 cards in hand. So the question is, maybe we just do like this and then draw the brainstorm? And then get a fresh card next turn. Stoneforge Mystic, sure. Batterskull, okay. Okay, let's, no, actually, let's preordain first. We really just want to find Doomsday now. I think I shuffled that. No need to give them a wasteland target quite yet. I think I'm going to plow this Stoneforge. Just because we have the second plow, so we can answer another sort of annoying card they might get, and if they get the Violent Batterskull, I'd rather just not have to then plow that, because, yeah. Okay, well, now it's like decision time. And with Mother of Runes, that's not so good. Okay, let's brainstorm, hope to hit Doomsday. We don't. But we hit a lot of other nice stuff. So they have one unknown card and Batterskull and sort of Fire and Ice. And if we don't plow Mom now, then we don't get to plow anything. We could plow Mom, and then we could like let them spend their mana on like stone forging stuff out and then plowing before they equip. I think plowing Mom is correct. Okay. I think we just pass here. Okay, let's get another land. There's Serenity. So I guess if we get to blue to Delta, Serenity becomes a thing. Let's brainstorm. Yikes. So that's not too hot. I can actually see ourselves, like, deploying the Serenity. So what does that do? Deploying Serenity lets them, like... So they deploy Batterskull. They get to attack with Batterskull. Serenity blows up. They get to return Batterskull to their hand. And, yeah, I don't know. We would lose our 2 Astrolapes. We can keep one. I actually think I like that. Keep the pedal. But that was not the best. I'm not gonna lie. I guess maybe we need them to deploy the Batterskull first. Because, if not, they'll just wait one turn, I guess. We have the plow as backup. Yeah, but that brainstorm was a bit ugly. Mm. So if we let this happen, we take 5, go to 10, deploy Serenity, take another 5, go to 5, potentially take another 4 if they, well, no, another 3. So that'll leave us at 2, so not very nice. So I think we plow here. And hope to not face, like, if they could play like a Flicker Wisp. Okay, so I guess that's not so good for us. That means that they get to hit us for 7, 8. And if they get another land, it would be 7 plus 4, so that's 11. That's still not the worst. But it does mean that we'd be dead to the next turn to like a Flicker Wisp. So I mean, like if they draw another land, they can Stoneforge the Sword of Fire and Ice and equip it just to Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp then deals us 7 total, and Batter Skull deals us 4, so that's 11. We'll be at 3, and so it would have to be a pretty sick Arkham's Astrolabe, which yeah, like that. Oh, come on, I hate when Magic Online does this. I'm not even sure why I'm doing this, to be honest. Okay, what is going on? Sorry about that. Yeah, let's do like this. Okay, so they didn't have a second land or a fourth land. So I take 8. I drop the 6. I guess they could then still kill me if they draw another land next turn. Wow, okay. So we're really in big trouble here. We need basically, we need Astrolabe to hit a Brainstorm, I think. Because we know the next card we're getting, I believe. I just can't remember what it is, but that's nothing good. I guess they could flicker out Serenity if, for some reason, but I'm not sure why they would want to do that. So yeah, this is looking like going to game 3. Oh, they are. How odd. I guess maybe they think that the Pithing Needle is doing a lot for them. Oh yeah, that was what it was. Okay, come on. Nope. Okay, on to game 3, and we're sort of running a bit low on the clock here because I'm yapping away here and taking 10 minutes to resolve a Doomsday. Okay, so we definitely want the Massacre. Probably over a Force of Will. Yeah, let's go like this. I'm gonna try and up my pace a bit. All right. Yep. Okay, that works. So we get to Doomsday turn 1. We could even draw into the pile, but it's not going to work because we need more mana for that to work. But let's do this, and then unless they have like unless they have surgical extraction or deafening silence, I think we just win on our next turn. So we are going to deploy Underground Sea here and Doomsday off the Dark Ritual, and then if they wasteland us, then that's fine. We can draw Predict and then Tundra Petal. They might Pithing Needle and name a fetch land, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that's the play. And we just hope they don't have a way to interact with us. Okay, so let's put Predict, and then let's predict a Brainstorm, I guess. And then let's draw Edge of Autumn and Lines of Diamond and Thassa's Oracle. And is there any reason to maybe make the... So right now, Brainstorm is what we're going to be predicting away. But there might be a world where we want to... Like, let's say they have Surgical. So they Surgical our Doomsday and shuffle our library with Predict on the stack. So we likely only get to draw one card. Plus something goes into the yard. And in that case, if it's Thassa's Oracle going into the yard, we just lose. And in that case, does Brainstorm do anything? Yeah, probably Brainstorm still does something. I was thinking maybe we would want something like removal if the game goes for like a few more turns. Yeah, maybe a plow. Not sure about this, but let's go. So Oracle on the bottom, LED, Edge, Plow, Predict. Pass the turn. Hope they're not like on something cheeky like Chrome Mox or something to Vile out Thalia. Not Vile out, but rush her out or something. Wasteland Go, I'd be happy with. But yeah, Surgical Extraction I think is the main card we need to worry about. Or that one, Deafening Silence, okay. So what does that do for us? So we play our land, and then we play the Petal. And then we pass to them. We could also preordain instead of playing the Petal. So let's say we pass and they wasteland us, but then we will we're going to be drawing Predict now, and we can on their turn predict, and that would bin the Plow. And I think unless they get out like a Meddling Mage to name Thassa's Oracle, we should be fine. Okay, so that's fine. Thalia here also doesn't do it. Okay. Revoker. Yeah, Revoker doesn't do it either. We'll have mana to cast the Oracle now that they didn't wasteland us. So let's see if they name Petal or LED. Lotus Petal. Okay, sure. So I'm going to predict myself. Name Swords to Plowshares. And then I'm going to draw the last card in my library. And I'm going to play it. Sweet. Got there. Alright, excellent. Let's quickly jump into the queue. But man, these rounds are taking way longer than I thought. That was pretty nice. On the play, turn 1, Doomsday. Would have been turn 2 win, but now it was turn 3. Okay, we want to be on the play. Wurf. So this hand is you know, passable against like combo, but not very good against anything else. I'm gonna mulligan. Oh, keep this. I'm gonna ship the scrub land. We could go turn 1 Doomsday, but that we are not going to do. Right on. So, turn 1 discard is what we do not want to face. Once upon a time, okay. I've seen this out of a lot of different decks. Out of Infect too, actually. And Infect is not an easy matchup for this deck. Tireless Tracker, so I guess that's like 4-color Loam, probably. In which case, we probably want to Doomsday now. Or, yeah. So, let's say we Doomsday. We can then Astrolabe into the pile, but we'd be at the same point as previously, where we need more mana. But we're gonna Doomsday now before they get to like Chalice for 1 and shut us off Dark Ritual. Okay, so we could draw Predict and cast it, predicting a blank, drawing Edge and LED, and edging into Oracle. I think that's going to be the plan, right? But then hang on, what happens if they play Thalia? If they play Thalia next turn, I'm not sure they run her main deck, but if they do, they play Thalia or Revoker or some crazy stuff. They don't play Revoker, I don't think. But if they play Thalia, or Thalia would be bad, but then we can play the Underground Sea, still cast Predict, and we would likely still get to just play Oracle on the following turn. So yeah, I think this is going to be our plan. So put Oracle on the bottom. Lion's Eye, Edge, Astrolabe, Predict. Pass turn. So what could they have of nasty stuff here? Yeah, that's fine. All right. Archons, Astrolabe, LED, Cycle, Sack, and Win. Alright, so I think we want Massacre, even though they have Gadok Teague. We want some number of Plowshares. Probably want the Snow-Covered Plains. They definitely run Chalice, so do we want some number of Serenity? And the Terminus. So we same as before, actually. We don't want the Fairy, don't want the Chant effects. We'll probably skimp on the second Predict. Can lose a Petal. Can lose the Spell Pierce. Maybe 3 Plowshares is one too many. If they stick like a turn 1 Chalice, then we're not going to be too pleased to be drawing them. And we have the Massacre and the Terminus, so I think probably like this. Let's see how we go. Yeah, not going to pass this hand, even though Chalice for 1 wrecks us here. They might, having seen what we did, might actually go for a Chalice for 0. Knight of the Reliquary, okay. It's that deck. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been valacutted by this deck before. Okay, so let's do like this. Right. Still just don't want to get Chalice if we can avoid it. Looks like we can't avoid it. Yeah, alright. Yeah, this is suddenly not looking so good. Because now we need to find like Serenity or yeah, Massacre doesn't really do it anymore. At least not with this. And how quickly can they kill me? So whenever a mountain enters the battlefield, if you control these 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut. And then they play some creature that makes all lands, like basic lands of all types or something. So I guess they're still a little bit of a ways away. Like if we draw Doomsday, we can cast Doomsday, and then we would drop to 10 life and be somewhat close to them just killing us with Night. Okay. So right now the Valakut isn't online. Oh, I would love to draw Serenity. Okay, so they get Loam going. I guess that's fine. So right now, Massacre. They don't have a Plains, so Massacre, never mind that. So, worried about a Green Suns here. Trinisphere. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we draw the Doomsday. They have Wasteland, and I don't think we can get around fetching a non-basic to cast Doomsday. So let's say we cast Doomsday. Then they Wasteland us. Then we put basic planes on top. And then we put Terminus second from the top. And we can actually Street Wraith into Terminus on their turn if we need to. So this will take us to 18. Doomsday will take us to 9. Street Wraith to 7. It looks unlikely that they'd be able to swing for that much, but let's go. Let's get basic Swamp. And get Underground Sea, I guess. Yeah. And so with the basic planes, we'll be able, through the Arkham's Astrolabe, to make blue for the Oracle, which is in our hand. Okay, so basic planes, Terminus, and then what do we need? We probably need the Edge of Autumn. So let's say we pass now, we take a bit of damage. Then we pass the turn, let's say we'll be at like 5 or 4. Then there will be 4 cards in our library. The top one will be Terminus. We will Street Wraith into that on their turn, dropping us to like 3. And we cast Terminus. And so we untap, we draw Edge of Autumn. And we can edge into like a Prismatic Vista and sack that for the snow-covered plains. Snow-covered island. That leaves us vulnerable to like somehow that extra point of life mattering, but I think that's pretty solid. So let's go like snow-covered island at the bottom, Prismatic Vista, Edge, Terminus, snow-covered plains, and hope we don't die. So Ghost Quarter here is also a scary card. So I guess they could like, if they get that guy in that makes the Valakut just nuke us for a billion, we just die. But I guess, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, oh man, there he is. Okay, so we're dead. I'll just let you see how it goes. So Knight is going to, so we get 3 now, and then Knight can get another Valakut, and then they can fetch, and then, yeah, then we just die. Okay, cool. And I guess Knight gets the Valakut now, if they have more than one. Yeah, alright. So that was close but no cigar. Did we change anything here? How many Serenity? We have both Serenities. Chalice was a bit of a problem here. We have the 4 forces. I think this is still fine. I think this setup works. I'm actually a bit lukewarm on the Massacre, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, so that's the mulligan. And that's a keep. So what do we do here? Well, we bottom the Terminus, but what's the play? We can go Snow-Covered Swamp, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, and then put like basic island on top, and then predict binning something, drawing edge and LED. But that loses to Chalice on 0. But I'm gonna go for it here. I think that's the correct play rather than with his hand. I mean, there's no need to double Doomsday. Sorry, double Dark Ritual. So let's say we want the snow-covered island, and then we will bin. Maybe like a massacre, because then if for some reason they get to, if they go like Mox Diamond Thalia off of the plains, then that's an out for that. And then we go with Edge, LED, and Thassa's Oracle. So, but that way we lose to a Chalice for 0 because we get to LED and we can't cast LED and we can't get blue. So maybe the Massacre, maybe it's more likely they just have Chalice than they have 2 mana and a Thalia on turn 1. So in that case we would need to draw another island. Yeah. So we go Thassa on the bottom. Then we go LED, Edge, snow-covered. Alright. Hope you don't Thalia me. I also hope you don't Chalice me. For 0, that is. Now, if you're the opponent, do you Chalice for 0 or do you Chalice for 1 if you have it? Okay, they get a land. I guess unless they have surgical, they just die then? Okay, no. There's the Chalice for 0. So I guess, okay, so right now let's think about it. Our deck is Island, Edge, LED, and Thassa. So if we were to preordain and draw the island the next turn, then we'd speed it up by a turn. I think we need to do that and then just hope that nothing too bad happens to us. Or I guess we can draw the edge. Yeah, that's correct, right? Or it's not correct if they Trinisphere us. So let's say we draw Edge of Autumn, we pass the turn, they do something, and then we draw the snow-covered island, and then we need to still like draw the lines that I'm gonna, yeah. But I think this is correct. Yeah, I don't think that changes anything for us, right? Nope. That just means that we can't be cycling Edge of Autumn until Do we keep the snow-covered island in our hand just to make them, lull them into thinking that this Trinisphere is enough? Um, is there any way we get like him to Toract or something? I very much doubt it. Is there any cost to doing this? No. I think it's, well, there might be. The him to Toract is the cost, but I think this way, if they have like Ghost Quarter, or if Ghost Quarter is sort of aligned to them, they might not think of it because they think, oh well, he just doesn't have the 2 lands. He only has the 2 lands, so he's just locked under this Trinisphere. But let's see. I guess like if they play another mana and then Chalice for 2, then we're just out cold. Yeah, that's fine. So I think that means we win. Because now they're locked under their Trinisphere, and it's not like, I don't think they could have anything relevant. Okay. So let's cycle. Whoop, we got there. Sweet. Yeah, that was good. That was good. I guess actually, seeing as we could have put, what I'm not sure what we could really have foreseen how all this played out, but as it played out, it would actually have been better, maybe, to have the Thassa's Oracle not be bottom and have the LED be bottom, because in that case, we might get to a point where they would like be tapped out one turn too early under the Trinisphere, and then the Oracle not needing for us to be without cards in the library in case they had removal, they couldn't cast it. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, I think like one of the beauties of this deck is like there are a lot of unspoken heroes. Unsung heroes is the expression, right? Like the fact that Street Wraith, and in particular Edge of Autumn, like the fact that they cycle and draw you a card for, like, not only for no mana, because Probe was no mana, right? Gitaxian Probe, but Probe cost 1 if there was a Thalia in play, or cost 3 if there was a Trinisphere in play. But the fact that these completely circumvent that is just, like in this case, completely game-breaking, right? Or decisive. The Astrolabe obviously also just makes this deck really tick. I've been talking to a friend of mine quite a bit about Astrolabe, and he feels like it needs to get banned. And there's always there's always something people talk about in terms of banning. So I don't want to get into the whole thing, but just it's like one of those things that Astrolabe just subtly goes about completely warping how decks are built and mana bases are built. Like, I'm playing 3 colors in the main deck and splashing red without a single mountain. I'm splashing red in the sideboard, and my mana base just feels incredibly solid compared to like when I used to be playing like Ant back in the day, where like you would fetch out your basic island to cast Ponder and Preordain and stuff, but it was a luxury. Back then, Tess didn't run any, or like for a long time didn't run any basics. I think they run like what, a swamp now, and for this deck to just get to run like so many basics and just operate so smoothly, it's due to the Astrolabe. All right, let's see how we go. So obviously, like a lot of these Doomsday piles, I'm taking way longer than what would be sort of allowed in Paper Magic. I'm gonna keep this. Partly, I'm taking this long because I'm talking it all through because I'm making a video, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm also like, I need to speed up if I'm gonna be playing this in paper. Now, with everything as it is right now, who knows when I'll get to play Paper Magic, but you see my point. Oh, probably Blue-Red Delver. So the question is, do we go for like a super aggro turn 1 Doomsday here with force backup? And I mean, do we then think we can actually win post Doomsday? I think maybe we need to be patient. No, we don't want these. Well, we got one of them anyways. Okay, so that was not the best ponder. Let's see what they do here. Do they flip? They don't flip. Okay, lucky for us. Fiery Islet. Okay. Arcanist? Pyromancer. Okay. A lot less afraid of Pyromancer than that Arcanist, even though right now their graveyard is empty. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm now. Put back LED, put back Tundra. I'm going to fetch out a snow-covered island and yeah, I'm going to ponder. I really want to find a silence effect. Predict is actually pretty sweet. So I'm gonna do like this, and then I'm gonna predict the Thassa's Oracle. That will sort of let them know what's up. But we get lucky again, and they don't flip. And I guess they don't have like cantrips, right? Well, they might have actually, and it's just chosen not to cast them last turn because they went turn 1 Delver. Okay, so we have left ourselves a little bit vulnerable here to not fetching differently, in the sense that, yikes. Hang on, maybe we just need to actually go Doomsday now. They have 3 cards. Let's say it's Force and a blue card and a Daze. That's the worst they could have. We can't let them untap with this. They will deal, let's say Delver flips. 3, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 10. We'll drop to 2. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna draw the... So let's see. Before we have the option to predict now if we want to. So let's say we have 4 lands and a pedal. Then we lose to double Daze, I think, right? And we lose to Force Daze. But I still think we need to do that. Oh, what am I talking about? Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. We can't cast the Doomsday. Okay. Well, we can cast the Dark Ritual now. I think that breaks us even, right? Or are we even up a mana? Wow, that was lucky. Yeah. This is even better. Yeah, we got super lucky there. I'm not sure why I should have just tapped the basic swamp. Never mind. Okay, so we can even pay for double Daze. Okay, so we're gonna be predicting. Let's say we predict a brainstorm and we draw. So I mean, if sorry about that. So I'm just trying to work out if we can get to a point where we have a protected kill, even through like losing our force of will. And if I had not used Petal, I would actually be able to make white mana and then draw into like a silence. So right now, if they actually have a force, but they're just playing it cool and letting me Doomsday, then I think we will lose. Let's see. We predict Brainstorm. We draw Edge and LED, and we edge into Street Wraith, and we Street Wraith into Thassa. I think that's what needs to happen, right? I don't think I've left myself in a position where I can actually not need to use LED. I suppose, could we go, like, is there a way we can get to this by pedaling? So let's say we break Brainstorm, draw Edge, Pedal. And then we preordain for another Pedal. Or do we even need to preordain? We have the mana, right? So we again get to a point where we lose the double days, but not single days, right? So we predict Brainstorm, draw Edge, draw Pedal. And then we have 1 mana untapped. We just need to not tap both of our islands, and then we edge into Street Wraith into Thassa. And we get to keep Force of Will up. Yeah, that works, right? Again, loses the double days. Excellent. So Thassa on the bottom, then Street Wraith, then Pedal, Edge, Brainstorm. Brainstorm. Okay, let's cycle a land. Or rather, actually, hang on. Let's play this battle. Cycle a land. Cycle Street Wraith. Play Thassa. Okay, so they didn't have anything. Great. All right, let's bring in the Pyroblasts. Let's bring in the basic planes. Let's bring in the Plowshares. Maybe the Counterbalance. Let's bring out Teferi. Oops. Bring out Teferi. Bring out some number of Force of Wills, maybe all of them. And then what? Maybe a Predict. Kind of like Silence, though. Is there a way to get the third Silence in? Maybe we can cut like a pedal. Yeah, let's try this. On the play, if we get to game 3, I probably want the second Counterbalance. Yeah, I guess we keep this, right? Looks pretty good. We could go turn 1 Counterbalance. That'd be pretty sick, right? They choose to shuffle. So, you know what? Nah, let's go for the Astrolabe. Although maybe I should have played the Delta, because I kind of want basic planes for these at some point. Let's play out the Pedal. That way we can actually pay for a daze. And So we get to, I think we're gonna just slam the counterbalance next turn. Delver, sure. Let's see. They probably have like a red blast. I'm gonna fight over this. Hopefully they don't have days, but if they do, so be it. At least that'll set them back a bit too. Yeah, okay, so they have days. Wow, they just can't flip. So I think we need to plow this dude. Even though the Delver is a scary clock. Okay, so I flip with a Pyroblast. So if you're them, do you like start Pyroblasting my cantrips? I think that's correct. If I draw any, that is. Yeah, not looking too hot right now, I gotta say. We need to draw like a removal spell for this guy, I think. Yep, that's not removal. We have 4 1-mana removal spells left in the deck. I have Borrower, sure. So that just off the clock quite a bit. Okay, so now I need a cantrip, and I'm going to silence if I get one. If they force this, I think we're just dead. Because, I mean, we're probably dead anyways, but Ponder needs to hit like... Maybe we need to fetch before we Ponder. Because Ponder needs to hit like Doomsday and a Brainstorm. And like another cantrip. I guess there's a world where we ponder into a removal spell and then kill the Delver. So they have surgical, that's good to know. They can surgical or pedal. I'm more annoyed by the fact that they get to see our librarian. It might have been correct to just concede here, but I think we still have a chance. So okay, so that makes it a bit harder. Because now we can't fetch, so that probably seals our fate. You can't Doomsday at 1 life. We don't get any of the cards we need anyways. Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't matter what we draw off this Ponder. Yeah, alright. Fair enough. So let's get that second counterbalance in. And let's take out probably a Spell Pierce. Do we like this hand? Yeah, it's probably fine. They mulligan to 6. That's a good start. So we're going to get out of basic island to not get locked by Wasteland. Even though we want to be casting both blue and black spells. Or sorry, white and black spells. Okay, we want the second land. We don't want the second Dark Ritual. Ideally, they don't just Delver on turn 1. That's always what I'm least happy to see out of a Delver deck, I think. Sorry about the sniffles, by the way. Okay, so let's brainstorm. That's pretty good. Let's put back Lineside Diamond and the Petal, I think. Yeah, and let's fetch out a basic swamp and play the Arkham's Astrolabe. And if they have days for that, that's pretty annoying, but we still got all 3 of our basic colors covered, but they don't. Okay, so I'm getting to the point where seeing Doomsday and Silence is sort of the trick. Okay. Yeah. Your friend there is going to eat a plow. I'm gonna ponder. I do think we want this stuff, right? So let's what to do. I'm worried about that those surgical extractions now. So yeah, let's draw the counterbalance. And let's plow this guy. I mean, do you fight over this if you're the opponent? I think we messed. Yeah, they do. I think we messed up the order on our. We put the snow-covered island on top, and not the spell. Because what I actually feel like doing right now is casting Dark Ritual, and then Petal, and then landing, sticking Counterbalance. We could like try and counterbalance through a daze, but if they have the daze, it's such a blowout. We lose the Petal. I don't believe they have a second force, although they might do. Being this aggressive about forcing the Dread Horde Arcanist makes me feel like they might have. But in any case, if counterbalance sticks, then we are not able to get the second, like their preordained from the Dread Horde Arcanist can't be countered. Okay, I think I'm gonna not sacrifice the Dark Ritual. And again, like if we get blown out twice by days, so be it on a counterbalance. Okay, we didn't. Excellent. So they'll get one shot out of this. Out of this Arcanist, they'll get their Preordain. Yeah, no, there's a basic island. Yeah, when I pondered, I didn't, and took the counterbalance, I wasn't actually thinking I'd play it on the same turn. Okay, so they... I can't remember what's on top either. Hoping it's a 1-drop. It wasn't. Oh no, what am I talking about? I knew it was the Snowcarter Island. I thought about the next one. Never mind. Okay, so we need to get rid of this Arcanist, or we need to win, sort of post-haste. And let's shuffle those. And let's brainstorm. There's Doomsday. Okay. So we don't need both blasts. What we do need is 1 blast and then the predict. So we have 4 mana, becomes 6, becomes 3. So we'll just be able to both predict and reb. So let's go like... Let's go like this and pass the turn. And that way we can beat a force. We can't beat a Pyroblast and we can't beat a Flusterstorm. So we're not looking amazing, but I mean, they can't Pyroblast the Doomsday. And if we get to Doomsday, they aren't representing any clock right now. That might change. They might sort of play a Delver now or whatever, but even so, we should be able to live with dropping to 8. They might have bolts, any number of like bolt effects in their hand. Okay, Brainstorm, that's pretty good. This is going to go down to the wire, I feel. Yeah, so we really have to hope that they don't, like, that they aren't sitting on Pyroblast. And, like, they showed a Surgical Extraction. Wow. Okay. So, I feel like we just have to accept this and then draw our Pyroblast. But that means we'll be going off in the blind. Sort of, we'll be going off unprotected, or we will have to wait another turn, let them untap, let them ponder once more with their Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is not really where I want to be. They don't shuffle. So right now, you'd imagine they have a Force of Will. So what happens here if we Doomsday to test the waters? And then if they force that, we can Pyroblast, and then we can put a Pyroblast on top of the pile to kill Narset. I think I like that. if they have 2 counter spells, then it's kind of bad. Okay, so let's say I can't believe that they don't have anything. Let's say we put a red blast, and when we pyro Narset, and we try and predict the red blast away, and then we draw. It just feels so unlikely that they don't have anything to mess us up. So we have to sort of plan ahead for there to be another turn. And if that was the case, then what would we need to not sort of lose? I suppose we would then just draw the red elemental blast. And then we would reb her. And we would try and predict. And we could bin like a plow. And then we could draw edge. LED Thassa. But then, like, we can't. We would also probably like to be able to. No, we should be able to cast Thassa. I was just wondering if I should put in another land. So we put Reb on top. If they just have nothing, then we predict the Reb, draw edge LED, and get Thassa. But if not, then the Plowshares maybe buys us enough time. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put Plow on the bottom. I think, right? Then Thassa, then yeah, because it doesn't matter. No, actually, that's wrong. We're gonna put Thassa on the bottom, then predict the Reb, draw lines of that. No. Predict Reb, draw LED edge, then Thassa needs to be second from bottom. Let's see. Okay, so they force pitch true name. And that means we have to pass. So they're down 2 forces. They're down 1 Reb. They could go like, if they have 2 lightning, if they get to like 2 lightning bolt effects now, then they win. Then they, oh, it looks like they do. Oh, that's too bad. I'm just trying to work out if there's any way that I predict the Reb now and then draw 1 card. Then that card would be the Edge of Autumn. And then I would draw another card, which LED, right? And then I lose because they have lightning bolt. Wow, we're in a pickle. I think we're going to lose this one, sadly. Um, because they can lightning bolt the Thassa that way. So yeah, I think we need to pass here. And then... Oh, but they have lethal next turn. Oh, that's so bad. And if I put LED on top of Edge, I could actually predict the LED, draw Edge, draw Thassa, Edge into Plow. But I didn't. At least I don't think I did. Pretty sure I always tend to put Edge on top for some reason. So is there any way out? Sorry guys, just really racking my brains. Just would be so nice to get this, but it doesn't look like it. So I think we need to Red Blast. Let's see if they have yet another force. Yeah, and if they see the line, then we just lose. Because the line is for them to untap, bolt me, attack with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and bolt me again, and then the Dreadhorde Arcanist deals the last point of damage. Okay. They have another dace. Okay, they didn't. Yeah, alright. Say la vie. Yep. I'm just gonna let them attack and actually do the right play. Okay. Alright, so we lost that one. I feel like the plan is solid enough, but yeah, that Arcanist, if it just goes unanswered, it was a strong play by them to actually force it. I really like that play, and turned out to be like match winning. But yeah, I put that island on top when I pondered into the counterbalance. I can't remember what was the third one down. I'm pretty sure it was one drop, and if I had done that, then the counterbalance would have survived the Pyroblast, and that would have made a big difference. But I could be misremembering, and it could have been a predict, or like another 0. It was a blue card, I think, though. I'll have to go back and rewatch. All right. Let's see if we can finish strong and go for a 4-1, which is a great feeling, or if we'll have to settle with a 3-2, which is also decent. I think I'm going to keep this. We have the potential turn 2 to Fairy, which might be relevant. Yeah, let's bottom the Strand and draw the Ponder. Bayou. Yikes. So what do you take here if you're them? You're likely a Dark Depths deck, I'm guessing. Okay, take the fairy. Fair enough. Yeah, let's brainstorm even though that gives away what we drew. Let's put back these two. And get another land. Yeah, I kind of like this. Let's draw the Force of Will. Just in case it actually is like Storm. Don't think Storm plays Marsh Flats. Unmask. Exiling Unmask. So I guess it's like black-red reanimator. Okay. So now I'm like really sad that I put two Astrolabes on top. And now it makes sense why they took the Teferi. If I'm them, if they have the combo here, I would have taken the Brainstorm. Two Gristlebrand's. They don't have it. Okay, lucky. They almost certainly have a 2-mana, a 2-mana animate effect. So let's Brainstorm. So we draw Force, but no blue card. Ah, that was wrong. I should definitely have put back Strand and not Petal, because if we Astrolabe into Pierce or Thoughtseize, then I'm going to be sad. Let's Astrolabe before we get a blue card. We do. That was lucky. Mind you, we're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, they're digging. They don't have it, it seems. Well, that's good, because I was thinking they probably had like 2 of those types of spells. So I've actually had a somewhat acceptable experience with this against this deck before. Because our deck can actually win through like a Chancellor. We can't win through just drawing lands though. Yikes. Yeah, okay, so they get it. I guess we need to draw like our second Teferi. I guess, you know, if we draw Doomsday, then it's not unreasonable to be able to win. We can win through 1 Chancellor effect. I think we can't win through 2. Although actually no, we can't, because Doomsday will take us on to too low of a life total. Okay, so not ideal to lose game 1, but I think we want the counterbalance, and I think we want the Plowshares. And let's see, I think we want these surgical extractions. Duh, you might say. And there is maybe a world where we want Terminus. We don't want the chance. I know some people like them, but I don't like them against those decks. We can cut a land. Cut a sea. I guess we can cut a Predict. Yeah, maybe we don't want the Terminus. Or actually, maybe... Nah. Let's not go for the Terminus. Let's cut a Petal. And... it's tough, right? Maybe 2 counterbalances is one too many. Maybe it's like too cute. If you can land it though, it's really good, I think. Yeah, let's shave a Dark Ritual. And shave like an astrolabe. Alright. Can we keep this hand? Yeah, I think we can, even though like the Edge of Autumn and Street Wraith are kind of meh here. But we have interaction, and we have mana, and we have cantrips. Okay, so they keep 7, but they don't show us a... what do you call it? A Chancellor. I think I'm going to have to go for Island here. Ponder, hope to find, like... Yeah. Yeah, I think we have to do this, right? And then we have to sacrifice our, what do we though? So we can either sacrifice the petal here to Thoughtseize, or we can Street Wraith into Pierce if we need to, and then Pierce. I think I like that more. And then save our petal. Two for wanting ourselves here. Yuck. Okay. So I guess they take the Force or the Ponder. Hope they take Force. Yeah, okay. At least that means we can Ponder now. So Ponder into a land or a Surgical would be nice. We get none of those. We have to shuffle and we get lucky and draw land. So let's get a scrub land and Thoughtseize them. I suppose we have to take the Unmask, seeing as they have triple of that effect. I hope they don't draw like Entomb. Okay, so a Dark Ritual and we're sort of off to the races, kind of. Okay. They have something? They're taking our Street Wraith. Okay. So it's a 2/4. Okay, let's brainstorm. There's the Dark Ritual. Oh no, I sided out Predict, right? Yeah, I sided out Predict. The thing is, what I would normally do here is I would Dark Ritual Doomsday, and then I would put a Predict on top in case they needed to, in case they discard us. And we also probably need to put back Edge, as we don't have another Cycler, as they have our Cycler. So let's put back Edge and Ponder. And let's Doomsday. And let's grab... Okay, so what's the worst that could happen next turn? Their hand is an unknown card and 2 animate dead effects. So if their last card is a Dark Ritual and they draw like Entomb, they could then get Chancellor. If that happens, we can plow it, but then that sets us back 1 turn. So, and that also messes up our Predict. There's also a chance they draw a discard spell and they discard our Predict. So let's say that we make the first card Brainstorm, and then we make the second card Snow-Covered Island, Reach. Yeah, no, that's not good, right? Actually, hang on. Let's play it around it this way. Let's not take an island. Let's say we expect to not have them interact with us. So we predict the brainstorm next. Oh, hang on, actually, I'm going to be drawing the brainstorm, right? So that's no good. So let's draw a snow-covered island, predict away a brainstorm, draw edge and LED, and then have Thassa be the bottom card. That way, if we need to prolong for one turn, it's not the worst, right? We'll then draw the brainstorm and be able to do something. Okay, let's do that. Let's put Thassa. Edge LED. So looks like we just get to win. Okay. Let's just, for good measure, plow our own street wraith. And let's grab the win. So that was a bit iffy at the beginning, but we got there. So do we want to do anything different for game 3? In particular, I'm thinking about the second counterbalance. Because oftentimes, like, by the time we get to counterbalance territory, I don't think anything we can bring in helps us in the early game, being turns 1 and 0. You could make an argument for a chant effect, but I don't buy it. So no, let's go like this. I guess we can't really ship this away. Let's hope they don't have a turn 0 Chancellor effect and then Gristlebrand on turn 1. They're due a Chancellor, turn 0 Chancellor though. Oh, they multi-6. Okay, they keep their 6. They didn't have the Chancellor, okay. Yeah, we just have to let them take a peek here. They take the force, but they ship the turn, okay. So let's not show them what we drew. And let's try and get a surgical or another force of will. Neither of those cards or any of those, so yikes. Okay, so I'm guessing they're going for Iona or Gristlebrand. That would be my guess. Yeah, this is where you likely lose. Yeah, the old draw 14. They're gonna, if they drew well, they're going to both get another fatty into play and discard our plow. If they weren't lucky, then only one of those. Let's just yield. Wow. Okay. Right. So let's hope for a brainstorm into Dark Ritual Doomsday. Well, there's the brainstorm. Hmm. Right. So, I mean, we have, by all accounts, we will have lost this. Maybe even pondering here is wrong because it needed to be off basic island. There was the Doomsday. So we can be pretty sure they'll get at least one of the Chancellors into play. Likely both. And if it's both, then we can just pack it up. If it's one, we can just pack it up as well, I think. There's a random chance it might. Okay. I think I've seen just about enough. Why not? Oops, I clicked no. I was going to click yes. It doesn't matter, though. All right, GG's. Well, so we were flying high for the first 3 rounds and then ended up on a bit of a damn squid, but still a lot of fun, and I still find the deck to be really cool. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see if I can get back to recording a few more videos at a bit more of a regular sort of pace. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you around.